Hallelujah. Giving, hallelujah, the highest praise, hallelujah, giving the highest praise, hallelujah, giving the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne. When I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation, the beauty of the universe, you never, never change. You never, never lie. You never, never change. You never, never change. Hallelujah to my Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Hey, hey. Hallelujah. Hey. Giving. Hallelujah. Hey. The highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. I'm not afraid, Jehovah. I'm not worship, Jehovah. He deserves the praise. I'm the praise. He deserves everything. The worshiping. Oh, he gave me life. I would praise his name. I'm here to praise my God because he gave me life. Come celebrate, come jubilate, come to worship him. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah. Giving the higher praise. All right, folks, we want to welcome you this evening in our last and final segment of today's editions of our regular programs here. This is the Liberia Public Radio, and I'm Alfonso Zienso. Thank you for sharing your mornings, evenings, and afternoon hour with us. As usual, your commitment cannot be overemphasized. It is for you, your commitment for your country that's get us rolling. Thank you so much for being with us here this evening. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah to my Jesus. Yes, hallelujah. That's Liberian gospel artist Joseph Bass and K Praise, Liberian artist based in Liberia to Nigeria, simultaneously joined it in that beautiful gospel piece. Hallelujah, give him the higher praise. Indeed, we must give him the higher praise for his protection, for his forgiveness and passion for all that he is and continues to do. That's part of us falling below the bell. This is All Things Considered right here on the Liberia Public Radio, diaspora informative news outlet, making the news proportionate, keeping it real. We're not that much in the business of breaking the news, but when it was breaking, when it is verified, when it is authenticated, then we believe it. We do not create emotions or some sort of excitement here just because we want to get a side of attraction. This is not what news is about. And this is why we keep ourselves a little bit distant from this sort of entertainment and amusement that has also meddled into the real news. And citizens are eager and finding it very difficult which way to go because our interpretation to the information sharing has become so personal, so sentimental, giving it more challenge into our work in today's news. This is All Things Considered. A lot is unfolding. This May week, we're going to look at our news, making headlines, and some of the things that are happening. And of course, as usual, we always allow you to form part of the conversation because, like I always say here,
We can't leave this in the hands of the politicians. Even if we disagree with them, we have to be tolerant, we have to be calculative, and we have to do everything possibly we can to hear from them, to evoke, because that's the only thing we can do to hold them of a tangible things of their commitment. They are very good at political correctness. And that's why when we have the opportunity to meet them, we ask all, put all on the table, and we will not be selective. However, even they are selective because they know exactly where they want to go and blow their trumpet and where they want to get free passes when there should be a follow-up questions to make sure Liberians get it crystal clear in their political bags. But it is what it is. I'm Alfonso Z, and so I want to welcome you. Good morning. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. We will keep the lines rolling here. A lot is unfolding. I do not allow these dramas and these entertainment to take you to get you distracted so that you can focus on the main call. Do not get upset with politicians, even your peers, when you're arguing on the Twitter, on the Facebook feed live. He who makes the argument takes the day. They have all reason to argue for those that they believe in as their political leader. I don't know how this war came about of lately, political leader, political leaders. I never heard that. Years back, leader says standard bearer, party chairmen, executives, and all of that. They have added a layer into the political discourse in Liberia simply because they want to be in charge, to be so powerful. So to bring in these names to the extent that it will set them apart, to be so distinct that you will end up getting the phobia that you can't even ask political leader. How this came about? How we buy into this? Is that what getting them to be over the roof, to be developing these artificial shoulder pad because they want to be powerful that no one can get around there? We need to start figuring out and thinking out of the box the directions and how these politicians want to take our country and how they intend, because they're not even to leave or to rule all. We have to be very cognizant of this sort of signal and begin to ask these questions. And that's why when I see these little organizations around everybody, president, 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 it rings the bell. It gives them the authority to be, to get that sort of absolute power. We have maybe like a local organization. Why now we have them as a project management committee so that we keep their focus to do what is right. I don't get it. Functionality is what I believe in. Not of the title is not what makes you function. When you function, the title itself will come upon you. I am Alfonso Z, and so of the Liberia Public Radio. Very shortly, our team of analysts and panelists are going to be joining us here, hopefully. But I guarantee you are the most important factor or in this political dispensation, because it is you who can tell you the one can determine the directions of this politician. If you don't give your vote to them, they will not be nowhere. They will not be on Capitol Hill. They will not go on the airflow. But because our vote is so precious, your voice, your argument, you're representing the best possible way you can. So there's no way that we can leave you out in this sort of critical conversations about our country. And I can tell you, 2023 is going to be going to be a crazy one. The unexpected will be pulled out. Just few days ago, we're talking here, and I was making the case. Is this Cummings and I boycott, not boycott, Ben and I Uris saga are going to take the show that what becomes of these other opposition? Well, we now know a group calling itself National Democratic Coalition that constitute the liberals, the progressives of Liberia, are solidifying their political grip. And we are now hearing, according to the statement in our positions, that there is a big conference on the way in March. We're going to share some of this with you. just to tell you exactly, there are others who are seeing themselves as alternative, as everybody being positioning themselves to be. The National Democratic Coalitions, I believe, it constitutes some major other political parties, social democrats. They have been around. There are a lot of names in the Liberian politics, but why the progressive message is not resonating? What is going on? What are they not doing for which they are not given the side of attraction? We are hearing now they are recalibrating. They've been having their meetings in the state of Pennsylvania. They're going to be taking a case inside Liberia. More than 3 or 4 political collaboration, trying to restructure. And what we are hearing, they are positioning themselves as the best alternative to the Liberian political process. They've claimed to have the solution. We will wait and see. Don't be surprised. More party will be coming in. Let's get the conversation going. Okay, my guys going to be joining me here. The man in Nairobi will bear with him. I know he was on earlier. But quite interestingly, this afternoon, to one of the voices or one of the strong related people admire of articulations, how she navigates through the questions and how she responds to questions, her ability to read, to direct and deflect questions, and keenly to answer questions, so to speak. Madam Wadi Power was my guest this afternoon right here on the Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv. And let's see here. I'm thinking here if we can have here. Let's get a sense of what she was talking. And she was making the case for ANC political leader, so to speak. That's how they want us to call them. Alexander Benedict Cummings. Let's listen to Wadi Power live this afternoon on the Liberia Public Radio.
In the private sector, if you don't have the national leadership that is going to be able to properly push that agenda and execute plans and strategies and whatnot to promote private sector development. And I come from the background that there can be no national development if you don't have private sector development. So in our situation, the political vehicle is the vehicle to use to ensure that there is a private sector and social development in the country. And so that's my involvement in the political space. Specifically as it relates to the Liberty Party, one of the things that I'm hoping to achieve is an elevated political party landscape in the country. Our political parties historically have not been institutions. They have been vehicles for individuals rather for the organization. And what I'm looking to is to set in motion something that
That was Wadi Power is a national treasures of the opposition's Liberty Party making the case this afternoon. It was a very well engaged conversation, and our support and Liberty Party positions to pivot in the directions of Alexander Cummings of the Alternative National Congress. What the most liberal on this network, Samson Blaku Brown told, is joining this conversation from Saxton, the Sacramento, California. That's the studio beat of the Liberia Public Radio, as usual, is here. The man from the far right, Amos George, will be joining the forum later on. Hopefully, our man from Nairobi will be coming in. But let me just go in and bring in the liberal. This is all things considered, and we're going to have a conversation here again this evening. The most liberal. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good, Mr. So. Thank you very much for having us again. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful, wonderful show this afternoon, and we were all glued to it. And we're very happy that you have that interview with this lady. One thing I took
Why
away,
you don't want to call her name with this lady? Come on.
well, she's a lady. One thing I took away from that is that she knows how to explain whether true or not. We still yet to get all of the information, but she can explain. I don't mind her being my lawyer at all.
Oh Lord, here we go. The liberal. He's starting now. You quick to give people the you're quick to get people out there, and nothing is guaranteed that you will even stick with them. Okay. Yeah, but so you follow the program this afternoon with What the Power?
Yes, yes. Not all of it, but I think I got the gist of everything else. I knew exactly when you guys started the line of questioning where it was going and what have you, and I felt within myself that that program was completely one-sided and one-sided and one-sided only. And we were hoping that we will have the opportunity to call in, but when the time came, I had other things that I have to take care of very quickly, and I missed the call in. And because I think I would have pointed out some fact that your program with her was just one side of the program.
Unfortunately, except you didn't listen, you didn't see the caption. There was an exclusive. So is that on the basis of that you saw
Well,
it?
even exclusive on what have you, the topic itself were pretty much a praise-sinking topic. The lady was grilled, but one-sided. She was grilled and giving a softball from you and Mr. Weir, a softball kinds of questioning that I thought was something. We're talking about Liberty Party now. Remember, that's my party, and she was giving, as far as I'm concerned, she was giving some softball, and she was able to knock them out of the park.
Are you saying we were babysitting her this afternoon? Is that what you're telling
Not
me?
necessarily babysitting, but I think you guys allow her to get away with a lot of stuff that I would have.
Example,
Uh, excuse me.
example.
Well, for example, Mr. Weir came out with this question that where you fire from Firestone. No, I wasn't fire. In fact, when I left, she said, when I left Firestone, there was an agreement that I would be able to help to for the transition period to be able to help the people that are coming in for Firestone, and I'm still doing some work here and there for Firestone. Please, what that got to do with Liberty Party? Was she ever accused of not being a good steward of Liberty Party such or involvement? No. What that got to do with it? Except to put her in the light of somebody who is not being portrayed as a sincere person. And I'm not questioning her sincerity, but what Firestone got to do with Liberty Party?
All right. Well, that's liberal. So we will have it as it is. All
And
right. Well,
she even steamrolled. I had my words. She even steamrolled by saying that when you ask her what was some of the thing that perhaps what was the reason of you. I think it was Mr. Weir that asked the question. What was some of the reason that you guys decided to suspend these people? And in fact, not only suspending, but when the Liberty Party decided their leadership decided to endorse Dr. Bakai, the next president of the Republic of Liberia, and she came out to say that she was somehow trying to tell us the whole Liberty Party is a party of sanctioning the view of the leadership. When she said that the Liberty Party, their intent is to have, which is okay, that's fine. But to say that the leadership must not and should not be able to endorse individually endorse whoever they like, except their views should be merged into the view of the entire Liberty Party itself. Then that means you're sanctioning the leadership as far as I'm concerned, because the leadership themselves, they are also individual. They are also Liberians who has some strong will, who has a will to decide who they're going to support. Notwithstanding, they're still here to whatever the group agrees on. That's fine. But as an individual, before the party chief and all that kinds of good stuff, they also are Liberian. They have a choice. But this lady was telling us this afternoon that that kinds of choice, they frown on it. And Liberty Party, you frown on my choice of selecting who I want, and you call yourself a Liberty Party? Please, that ain't the Liberty Party that I know.
Oh, okay. Well, your views and opinion, we cannot question your views and your opinion. Okay, let's get the program rolling. A lot been happening. All things considered, we're going to bring them as we will. Okay, what is on your docket here? Lab Benton Foreign, our man comments. Let me see here if we can even bring this here too. But besides that, though, let's see here. Just a couple of days ago, we were just on a conversation to what becomes of the rest of the political parties. Why are they allowing this ANC, CPP, Benana Ure, Alexander Cummings scenario to suck all of the political conversations? What is happening? Guess what? Just yesterday, a top insiders of the this group calling itself the National Democratic Coalition. I'm quite sure you're familiar with that name. The National Democratic Coalition is a coalition of the progressives. They are trying to rebrand, not rebrand, or they are coming back. They are coming again. I think they've been missing the mark for whatever reason. The progressive has been in the politics of Liberia for quite a long time.
We, the progressive, make Liberia, present Liberia. We give them the platform. The progressive of Liberia fought and died for the Liberian people to have one man, one vote. So when you're speaking about the progressive, please, your tone should be raised in respect of the activities of the progressive of Liberia, because they fought and died so that Liberians will be able to have the opportunity for one man, one vote. Or not two-we party. You can't have one man, one vote. So say one, so say one, so say all. This is what the progressive was fighting. So please, if you're talking about the progressive of the Liberian people, the progressive, please try to raise your voice in the form of respect to the progressive and their activities, Mr. Soul.
Wait a minute. Where do you stand in the politics in Liberia?
Mr. Soul, all things equal, and on your own show, all things considered. I'm just giving it to you as it is. The progressive of Liberia, one of whom passed quite recently, Dr. Marcus Don, who was having to be at the time one of the propagandists of the progressive wing, and these people fought at a very young age. When many of us were young, we were not involved into Liberian issues, but these people wanted their brothers and sisters to be free from the yoke of the two-we party, from the yoke of oppression, from our own brothers and sisters that were free from the free slaves here in the United States. And when they went back, and what did they decide to do? For Samson to tell their chamber and then wash their poo water all in the place. But Mr. Soul, don't get this progressive start tonight, because this is not the time. I want all of us to come together. But when you're speaking about the progressive, they have fought for us. They brought us to this position. One man, one vote. If Samson Tour wanted to be president of the Republic of Liberia, if I have the means to campaign, if I have the means to convince my brothers and sisters, it will be one man, one vote. You can't say because Samson Tour wants to be president, that means the entire country will now say, so say one, so say all. Ain't happening anymore. Look at the light in the Senate. The light, Dallas Dillon in the Senate. He is there to point lights and point out things that are happening in the Senate. You couldn't have done that during the two-we party time in the Senate. Mr. Soul, I'm just saying to you, when you're speaking about the progressive, please Give them the respect. Raise your voice and speak about them and talk about them and say something which you know to be true of the progressive of the Liberian people.
What do you have for dinner today?
Mr. So what I'm giving you things here. I give you another example. Back in 1979, on a Saturday, beautiful Saturday morning, Samson Tour was at the Ministry of Education, cleaning office. I was a cadet. So I was at the Ministry of Education. Before that, Dr. Bole came to the Ministry of Education. And I saw Dr. Bole being arrested at one time. I'm not going to go into detail about it right now. But the point here, that Saturday morning, 1979, okay, I was at the Ministry of Education. And we knew the night before, because we was considered not so much of a foot soldier. We were the first soldier of the first soldier of the first soldier. That's how far we were from the activities of power. But we knew that there was going to be a demonstration. So that Saturday morning, I took upon myself, I decided I'm going to go to the power office. And the power office was next door to PUA. Okay, I believe, I'm not too sure. PUA, I know the other name, but I'm not going to pronounce it here. So the progressive, Deacon Collard decided, the progressive, that they decided the demonstration process was not right. The atmosphere was not right because the police intended, and the two party, their intention was to damage and shoot people. So the progressive decided that we're going to go ahead and have the demonstration canceled. We got a group coming from New Town. So Deacon Carlos stood in the middle of the atrium, and then with his bullhorn announcing. And then we had the two-way party police. Somebody came out over there and said, all of the people, over 300-400 people. And he wanted these people off of the sidewalk of the Republic of Liberia. They should only be sitting in the power cubicle, whatever it is. And the demonstration started. And of course, the police did not disappoint. The two-way party did not disappoint. They killed many Liberians. Just because Liberians were questioning their corrupt behavior, and they decided to kill. I was there. So I know about the progressive a little bit, Mr. So it's not about what I'm eating tonight. It's about what my people have. And this is what I'm saying. Whether you're for CDC, whether you're for the Unity Party, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. But one of the good things that the progressives have done for us, we are not going back to so say one, so say all. Liberia will never turn around. It's one man, one.
But you have pushed a little segment of so say one, so say all in a different type of conspiracy here on this network. You do not want, one day you were the progressive, another day you were the Liberty Party, in the afternoon you were Joseph Boyka, in the morning you were Ellis Comey, you're coming back to the progressive. You have hold on one second. You've been having your monologue here. I've been very peaceful and listening to you, and some of your supporters here even frown on me. Why are you looking at Mr. Toll like that? So, well, that's their view. So, the progressive, we're going to come to other things here that we're doing. The progressive seems not to be, they have never found their voice. Progressive members, Chris Dubenyan, Professor Alari Toba, there are a lot of those folks here. What is going on? Why their message is not resonating? Is it the contemporary politics in today's war in the 21st century and that of years back? Are they finding it difficult, or are they being branded as the socialists? Is that one of the reasons that you think giving the progressive hard time?
Mr. So, the progressive, when they came to be as grown up, these were young people, very firebrand at that time, young people. And some of them, having had the opportunity to study, educated themselves real well, Dr. Tipote, Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Formula. These were people that were highly educated. Many of them are still alive. They were young at the time, and they fell with him. At that time, also, Pan-Africanism just coming out of being. For Julius Nyerere and all those kinds of people were just failing away. And these young progressives came up. So the best thing, the Toba and the Tui party and their machine, their talking machine would have done, and they did very well, was to bring these people as being socialists.
Was there any reason? So, any reasons of?
Well, of course, there's a lot of reasons. By doing so, and I'm getting to it, I believe by doing, and they did it successfully. To the progressives themselves, they felt within themselves that we're not here to dispute who we are or what we're not. All we want you to do is to stop your corrupt behavior. So the progressive was not pushing back on not being a socialist or what have you. But the reason, number one reason was so that the United States, whom at the time were in the ideological war with Soviet
Union.
So when they bring the progressive as being a socialist, okay, communist, whatever they want to call them, and so they so that the United States and the Congress and everybody else in the United States government will frown on these people and not look at them favorably. There was a time, there was an election, so-called, there was supposed to be an election, where Dr. Sawyer was challenging another two-way party candidate for mayor's position in Monroe mayor position. And the guy with him, they call him
Chuchu Horton, yeah.
And Dr. Sawyer at the time was considered the broom. Just like you have the light right now in the Senate. Dr. Sawyer was considered the broom because he was coming to sweep all of the corrupt behavior in the city of Monrovia.
And what happened? The broom?
Well, they couldn't. The political machinery of two-way party, they were in charge.
But this, I'm working on modality. We're going to be having some of the progressive here, and I think probably, I don't know whether that's going to be the pivotal movement of your part. So now, if the progressive that we're seeing here, the progressive, the New Deal movement, the New Democratic Alternative for Liberia movement, the national leadership, they have different political parties put together. These guys, they are intellectual, smart guys. Why they couldn't navigate through the process? Why they seem so they were knockout? Is that a right word to use?
I agree with you. But here's the thing that I believe was happening with the progressive at the time. First, they were not given the opportunity. And when the time came around, especially after the Accra Peace Accord, what have you, after the war, the progressive tried to rebrand themselves, I believe, and tried to put themselves back together. At that time, the war has taken a toll on many Liberians. And many Liberians, through the propagandas of the remnants of two-way party, were accusing the progressive of being responsible for the carnage in Liberia. And so, once again, the progressive, I believe...
Were they responsible?
No, they were not. But the progressive at the time, they behaved as though Liberians, every Liberians or all Liberians were on the same level of understanding as they are, which was not the case. So instead of taking on the machinery itself and try to disabuse our brothers and sisters, I believe they decided to say, look, these people, our brothers and sisters, know that we are the good people. They will understand. By the time the progressive realized, I believe, that the message on them was being very damaging to their brand of politics, it was just too late. So even when they threw in few of the a hierarchy of the progressive, the Dr. Formula and Dr. Don to go as a candidate. And there's no traction. By that time, Madame Salif, who at one time considered herself a progressive, and at the end decided to turn her back on the progressive. She was already in the room, and she was already favored to win.
Is
So
it
this is
because
this.
I think other segments of Liberians sees or view the progressive as being sort of radical group? Do you think that was responsible?
Well, Mr. So, just get it. Let's get this thing here. Most of them at the time were in their early 30s, late 20s. And of course, radicalism was something like Liberian, young Liberian gravitated towards.
It's happening right now in a different version.
Of course, at the time, the young people of the Republic of Liberia, those of us who were following them at the time, we felt that the fact they were bucking the system, radicalism or whatever, it didn't matter to us. We embrace it. In fact, we believe that
That was the core. That was the core of the day.
Exactly. And some of the progressive, and I'll be truthful here as well, and some of the progressive, it seemed to me, were unable to remove themselves from the cocoon of the radicals' behavior as they got older. They didn't find, I believe, they were not able to truly find what exactly they wanted to do. I'll give you an example. Immediately after the war, when the election started, the 2005 election, many of the educated radicals wanted to be president. Instead of these same people to go into the Senate with their mindset of how government's supposed to be, and the fact that they were highly educated, go to the Senate, go to the representative, and try to build the institution from there based on what you, the progressive, want for the country. But instead, I believe the fault that I have.
Professor Alari Toba, whose is now for now we know is the chair of the NDC, contested for Bapolo, right? Bapolo, it didn't work out.
Yes, because they were not.
How this is quite interesting, and sometimes it's a sort of volatile conversation to really get into it, because we say we want people with hair on their shoulder to go in the house of elders, but yet and still we have it. But is it part of the disagreement with the Moja wing? I remember like the War Tapia, those days React, that was one of the radical group that, the day of Samuel Doe, Eventon, Talbot, those guys, Christian Hubbard, and all of those people, those are the people. The very Louis Brown, and those were the
Mr.
people.
So, the issue here is that, of course, by that time I was already here very early, early days of.
Somebody's finding interesting with the conversation. Go ahead. I will pick up their phone. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I was already here, but I was here not only being here. I was also going to these Liberian diaspora organizations that are connected with Liberian politics. So I've been into this thing for a very long time. It's not just Liberia. But anyhow, what I believe those days was this: Moja and the PA were not on this. It was just like Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King fighting for the same thing. But they wanted to go at this thing here. They want the same result, but they decide to go at it from a different perspective. Where I believe Moja wanted to go on the soft side to say, let's work.
Are they considered more like a social wing or what?
No, there were some hardcore members of Moja, but those people were not in close connection with Dr. Tipote.
Let me let you get your water jar, Drebia. We're getting some historical facts here for you. Let's go to this 612 number, I guess, from Minnesota here. I'm not sure whether they are the favorite of the progressive or who they are. 612 number 0274. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So this is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Yeah, Elvis, welcome.
Yes, I'm just so, I'm so touched right now by the conversation. I'm gonna bring it tears to my eyes. The
I hope you
progressive are
get a
actually,
cloth. You get a cloth around you to wipe that tears because I find.
no, seriously, Mr. So the progressive outside of my father, they're my heroes in the entire history of our country. They should be considered our new founding fathers. But I think the thing that really damaged their reputation is their association with the Samuel Doe government. I think it really sullied their chances of ever taking power in that country.
The
But these are
progressive.
some of the progressive,
Mhm.
during the Doe administration, the
Yeah.
first time, yeah. So I think really they should be considered our new founding fathers. These are
But
the men who should really,
Evans though, they were in the vanguard calling for change, and the only way PRC could see her side, they brought in other type faces of the progressive. But sooner or later, we got to know some of these people too. They were out of the game.
when you say out of the game, what do you mean, Mr.
I
So?
mean, you saw like Backup Matthews, became Minister of Foreign Affairs. They fell apart for whatever reason. Was it? Are you saying they are accepting positions in government was a betrayal of their cause or what?
No, no. What I'm saying, in the public eye, because those days, even Samuel Doe himself, he acquiesced to the progressive leadership because everybody in the country saw them as, our savior from the True Wheat Party. But because of what Doe became later on, the entire public looked at them. Anybody who associated himself with Doe had that stench or had that, that kind of bad feeling, but the Doe government rubbed up on them. But I just want to make a quick point before.
Mhm.
These are the men who are supposed to be building statue of in Liberia. You know what it takes? Look at America, Mr. So. Every time there is a big change in the life of the people socially, there's always war. You had the Revolutionary War. A lot of people died. The Civil War. A lot of people died. The time for the civil rights. A lot of people died during that time. So these men had the guts to go on in the street and march for our rights. They are the new founding fathers of our bro. No matter what anybody says, they are our heroes. They should be really venerated for what they did in our country. Without them, we won't have what we have today. We won't. So I think, like Mr. Pro was saying, we should really pay respect to them, regardless of what we think about them today. What are their association with Dole kind of dirty their reputation down the line, but they really stood for
So,
something.
if you say pay respect, before I go back to the liberal here, in what context to accommodate them, give them state
Well,
power?
no, not necessarily because politics is dynamic, always changing.
Mhm.
Today's issues are different than back then. But the reality is when we're talking about history, when we're writing textbooks and about who really changed Liberia for the better, in putting aside what subsequently led to the Doe regime coming in and the wars that followed, but those guys really made the biggest change in modern day Liberia by allowing us to have the democracy that we have now. Honestly, Mr. So, I mean, really when I think about it, those are our heroes. They really fought for something.
Okay.
Regardless of what subsequently followed, they went and they did it. They did it.
Oh.
Something that many people in America, the civil rights movement, you saw what happened to those people who stood up. So they're venerated. They're venerated for what they did. So our people should venerate our new founding fathers, as I would like to call them, the progressive. They really did well for us in that country. I just want to make that point. I know
All
it's
right.
not time to call him, but I want to call him and just make
Oh
that
no,
point. I
yeah,
agree
we
with
don't have,
Mr.
yeah.
Thor on that point.
Okay, well, you seems okay. So the liberal,
Yes.
that's quite
But
interesting.
let me go further than that.
Uh,
First of all, let me I appreciate the young man call, and I think he made some real good point. But I would disagree with him on the fact that these people, their association with Doe, perhaps might have tainted their record. I would disagree with him on that because when Doe and the rest of the people came to power, these people have already been in the vanguard. These people, in fact, they were in jail.
right.
According to rumors, they were scheduled to have been executed that Monday. So when they were free, and who else would Doe and the people turn to? Because the progressive at the time, I mean, and they still go on. People, you leave right, you say you got master
Yeah, it
degree,
was
everybody,
one
they
of the
say you
components the PRC claimed at the time that
right, right. So the
besides one
best
of the
thing,
rampant
the
corruption.
best thing they could have done was bring these people in. They have the Doe and his group have no clue on how to govern. To be honest with you. So when these people came in, they decided to bring them on board. Now, Yes, the interesting thing, we were just touching on that before you went to the call. The Moja and Power conflict, if you want to call it that, then started coming up within the PRC government. And I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go deep into that. But let me just say this. So as a result, things didn't work out the way they're supposed to. Any Liberians can make up their own mind and say what happened. It's their right. But the main thing here is these people give us one man, one vote. And let me be ridiculous and say this here one
You're
more.
always ridiculous.
Of course, it
It's not
doesn't
a
matter.
strange thing.
Well, Mr. Soul,
These people
you
know you.
ain't
They know
paying my
you.
more, my ain't paying your more. You
Here
see
we
that
go.
thing where somebody got drafted? I said, let me
Uh-huh.
be ridiculous. I will be ridiculous.
Here we
Here's
go.
another thing that we need to take into consideration. Those days in Liberia, and this is where I differ with Dr. We are on when it comes to sport. In as much as he is good in the realm of soccer, I don't believe that you can have one-on-one conversation with Dr. Weir on the history of soccer in Liberia, and then you think he most likely will not come clean. I mean, come on top, because he doesn't seem to be like he have that. Let me say this: the football business in Liberia, the Mama Musa, the Abona, the Saba Maya, those people. I'm not talking about one more told them
Henry,
time.
even though I'm not a Baroga.
Yeah, I'm not talking about one more told them time. But I mean the 70s soccer game in Liberia. The Samuel Toe, Salama Sipley, the guy who went to France and came back, the guy, I couldn't forget it. Santa Maria. How can I forget Santa Maria? But what I'm saying here is this: the fact that these people were playing football in Liberia helped to stabilize that country for a very long time. If it had not been for the soccer business in Liberia, I believe you would have had a coup long before then. But whenever there's tension in the town and you have IE and Barrow playing, the young people that are supposed to be in the street to demonstrate, the young people that are supposed to be in the street to disturb, they're at the Atten Stadium. So we should also give credit to the survivability of Liberia for that long. We should give credit to these young people that were playing on the football field. The Mama Musa, the Abodna, the Sabwa Maya, all of those young people. Because when they are playing football, Mr. Soul, after the game, you and your body will start arguing from the football field all the way to New Town. No politics involved. They say who the best. Joker, look how you played today. You ain't able us.
You are all time rock.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in a sense of the society, I believe these people should be given credit as well.
But
they did a wonderful job for us.
I agree with you. I was watching, just to digress a little bit, I was watching, I think it was IE when Senator Sir Joseph took place, and I saw a few folks, some old legends in the game of soccer. They were, talking. Liberians, we are noted of partaking in an obituary event. Nobody going to recognize these people or anybody who should be seen as an icon until when they pass, then they come, they bring all of the good flowers and begin to get a retrospect of your contribution. Okay, we will soon pivot right now to other conversation. This came about because we were just talking about, I think two or three nights ago, why are these other political parties allowing the these people sucking, and you use that word, they're sucking the juice out of them, and this whole Cummings and Benana Euro here. Now we received this relief. The Progressive, I believe there are 4 different political parties on the banner of the National Democratic Coalition, another coalition in the making. They're going to be holding their major conventions in Liberia. We are doing everything possible to get the voices air here as well as factor.
Mr. Soul,
we are listening.
Don't waste your time with those people. Anybody that comes out here, and I will be on here, you come out here and you call yourself coalition, I will try to tear that apart. Because why? They're playing with the Liberian people emotionally. This is the time if you call yourself, and let me go back a little bit. Let me just touch back a little bit some of the fault of the progressive. When Dr. Weir started his business, many of the progressive, oh, they made no book. What did Mel do with us? He made no book.
You are like an octopus.
So I'm just giving you some example. I'm just giving, in as much as I am a progressive and support their ideas, but I never supported that. And what I've always said, and I'm continuing to say, is this: what they should have done, once again, put your arms around Dr. Weir, because one way or the other, the young man was going to be president. Nothing else was going to stop it in Liberia except death. Go up and come down. Dr. Weir was going to be president. So they should have recognized that and said, let's work with him and bring Liberia to the level that we would like for Liberia to be. But they push him away. And guess who said, come to Papa? Imaya Shah. Who said, come to Papa? The other people that are around him now, put it in a bubble and they can't get him out. But let me go back to the coalition business here. We had this coalition business started here a few times ago. The CPP, young Liberians that are suffering in our country, even some sedition, decided they were going to pin their hopes on this collaboration and the CPP, knowing fully well that even if the CPP comes to power, they might not get a job. But their intent was to have this type of situation where Dr. Weir has found himself, where Honorable McGill, Honorable Samuel Tuer, Honorable Jefferson Kochi, according to any Liberian you talk to, will say these are the three people that are running the government. And people are trying to get away from it. And then when you have the young Liberian in Mozarado County demonstrated their love for CPP by defeating CDC. The second time again, they demonstrated their love all over the country by defeating anybody who hands Dr. Weir will raise. Now, you take this opportunity and harness this in the energies of the young people. What do? They decided to tear everything down. Just because of political gain of greed, whatever. And now we're going to sit down here again. And I'm Samson to the liberal progressive. Blaku, by the way. I'm not going to sit here for another people to come on Liberian Public Radio and try to say they're forming a coalition.
I don't think they need your approval. Who are those that...
They don't need but I have my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. And when they come here, I will express my opinion that they are now here coming to play with our mind emotionally again. And they have to they're going to have to disabuse me on that.
Wow. I never saw this other side of you coming this evening.
Mr. So,
okay.
There are certain times the liberal progressive will sit here and have conversation, because we have to have conversation. But there are certain times the liberal progressive will come out and be truthful.
Okay, let's have a conversation here. This is why the chief of staff to Alexander Cummings of the ANC tweeted about 10 hours ago. You remember Cummings was at the city court again today. Motion to televise trial dismiss. The prosecution is not ready to try this case. Discovery is beyond then. The need to prepare a document that they already supposed to have. This is coming from Isaac Vatukba, who is the chief of staff to Cummings. And he went on to further say, the rule of the law and the keynotes of the court will prevail. The prosecution is willing. They need to learn the law and understand the court processes. These people are sounding more confident that their men will be adjudicated. Seeing what is happening there, he was on Spoon this evening. I never had the time to really listen to him. I will try to go back to listen. But seeing what is playing out now, who does it benefit? Are they giving publicity stunt now to Cummings? Is Cummings going to seize this opportunity to reintroduce, define himself, what he represents to the Liberian people? Whereas your guy, the guy that you support, he's in quiet. I was just listening lately this evening. Apparently, there was a rendezvous to appear on the Spawn Network, and there is a cancellation. Is he out of voice?
Mr. So, Dr. Bakai, the next president of the Republic of Liberia, will never run out of voice, will never hide from anybody. Dr. Bakai has been in this
Why is
political
he being
arena.
held behind the
Mr. So,
curtain?
the liberal is speaking. You ask a question, the liberal is trying to help you to understand exactly what is happening. So please, Dr. Bakai has been in the arena for a very long time. Dr. Bakai is here to stabilize the country of the Republic of Liberia. No question asked. Now, let me address the issue with Kumi and his people. Kumi, my view and my view only. If Kumi and his people want to help Liberia, they got to take this thing out of the press and let the court, because the international community is watching. The court system in Liberia will not screw this one up. They will make sure this thing is correct. Many people, you can't mess with Alexander Comey on this one. It's not going to fly, number one. However, if Comey and his people want to take this into the arena of public opinion, they will be defeated because they don't have the mouthpiece just like the Custer. You can't take this thing from the court and go in the court of public opinion. You will be defeated. And once you're defeated in the public opinion arena, you stand no chance in the courthouse as well. Let the court make the decision. The judge called them out and said, no, we will not televise this. Leave it as that. Whatever reason the judge has,
are they on path to victory with that?
If they leave it as that and not come out to say what and try to interpret the judgment of the judge and what have you, leave it as it is. If anybody want to find out why the judge made that decision, let them go to the courthouse and ask the judge the question.
Well, are they on path to victory, to winning this? I listened to his defense lead, Councilor Silla, in his interview today, and his prediction this could go much longer than we all anticipated, 3 to 6 months. Comey seems to look confident. The ANC people seems to look confident. What a power came here this afternoon and say, hey, there was nothing swapped around. There was nothing altered. This seems to be their argument, and this honestly believe it's a sort of conspiracy. There's a collusion here with the same very people within the system and that of the ruling establishment. You heard Comey mention that on OKFM, and that seems to be the soundbite. With this first rejection by the court, not having the case televised, is that a sort of pathway here that Cummings gradually get into?
Well, if you just want to look at it from kabuki dancing perspective, yeah, you can say he's winning, but I would not put my hope on that, because these people in Liberia, they can give it to you with one left hand and take it from you the right hand. They have the ability to do that, and this is why I'm saying to the Comey and his people, take this thing out of public opinion. Because first of all, if you take it back into public opinion, you don't have the microphone like the Custer. You don't have the microphone like many of these people that are against on the other side.
If you don't have the microphone, or if you don't have people to actually enhance their work,
that's my point.
That's why they are going on the outlets now. Too.
No. If you're going to do that, then you must be consistent. You can't do it one day.
What's the definition of consistent?
Do it every day. Do
What are
it
you
every
talking about?
day.
Every day?
Every day. If you're going to take this, because whatever this young man wrote, he didn't write it for an argument for the court. He wrote it for public consumption, public opinion. So if you're going to do that, then you must designate somebody. It doesn't cost much to set
But
up a
usually the
platform.
strategy in a communication, the strategy deployed here by the common folks, and I'm just making some sort of educated guess here, is to retweet the minds of this very public in the absence of the court, and people are now to rendering verdict, depending who you talk to, is
That's
going other way.
fine.
Don't you see that as another way of kind of getting the guy out there in the public?
Yeah, that's fine if you're going to be consistent with that. But watch, you will find now, and this is coming from the Ase Vactoba, who was very close to the coming hierarchy. If you're going to do that, I suggest, and I'm not saying what they did is bad.
He tweeted the other day, denounced that events where it was reported that he Cummings has gone to Banana Urate to compromise or to beg to withdraw the guy. He's on a tweet. He's very tough. He's very effective in doing what he's doing so far, even though they might not come out to talk publicly. The last time we had a Cummings here, we're still talking to see maybe to have another. I said with Cummings, and I think he will love to do that because this is the right time that he most likely needs the media to get his side of the story like he's doing now.
Yes, I agree with everything you're saying, Mr. Soul.
But then why you don't agree with it?
I'm just saying, if they're going to do that, then they must have a means of trying to play that every day. It doesn't take much to establish one of the platform on whatever media, social media nowadays. But my thing is, if you do this, what they're doing now, you're taking this thing from the court public and then taking it to public opinion or public gathering or public hearing, whatever it is. If you're going to go that route, if you're coming into the public arena to argue your case, then it must be consistent. It must be done regularly. But you can't argue today and you expect people come on your side. Yeah.
I don't understand where you're going with this here. You taking,
but of course, as a conservative, you will never understand the liberal
because news is all about absorption. To absorb, put it out there, give it 24 hours, 72 hours. People absorb it, they process it, and they try to make sense of it. But you are giving another horrible advice here, and like you've been doing in the past.
Mr. Soul, Mr. Soul.
They talk today, they come and talk tomorrow, they come and talk.
Mr. Soul, one thing I know, when I will hope that you will understand, you cannot bamboozle the liberal from getting out of his talking point. I have my views, and I'm not going to give my views because it doesn't align. Because my view doesn't align with your conservative view. I'm not going to do that.
Why? Let me ask this question here, and I know you're going to go over the roof. Why are we not hearing from the old man?
From who?
Why are we not hearing from your guy?
Mr. Soul, why would you want what? This is the case that's in the court. The case I told you, you see, when the liberal is talking, because of you and the center right, and I'm not too sure where this other Nairobi West Side he on right now, but I was soon placing in a position because the other day you think he's
this is a kind of stereotype thing.
Mr. So let me make my point. You tell Mr. Weir is some sort of a neutral person. You call him a middle ground. He's not middle ground, but I'll soon figure that out. I know what I'm going to do. But there's my point here. The last time when we were out here, I told you, and I didn't hide myself, in as much as I support Dr. Bakai, who is going to be the next president of the Republic of Liberia. I'm not going to hide my feelings on that. But this is what I told you. When this whole thing is said and done, which I believe Honorable Kumi will come on top and be the victor. He gonna win. They got nothing on him. But what I said,
you mean the case?
The case. Even though they're dragging him, but they're not gonna win anything. And then after this, and I'll make another point.
Who are those dragging him?
What I said about Dr. Bakai was that when this thing is done, Dr. Bakai should come out publicly and apologize to his friend and brother, Honorable Cummings. And since it was filed, this case was brought about by Benedict Ure. Benedict Ure, I said, and I'm saying it again, must be rebuked publicly by Dr. Bakai. And even I went further than that. I said, after that, he should also distance himself from Benedict Ure. Now, Mr. So, let's go back into this thing here. If the case that is in a court against Honorable Cummings right now, which I believe from day one, they don't have nothing on it. There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
And I think here, it seems to me, if you look at some of the past history, the Mandela, the Sankara, and the other great leaders who has gone through tough political times, what they are doing here, don't you see it as a big elevation for Alexander Cummings? Even though, because here is the thing, Cummings has been consistent that he didn't do any wrong. They say he did wrong. There was alterations and all of that. He has gone to the court. I'm not sure whether even at the end of the day from city court, I still have that apprehension as to whether that was going to be the final buster. My guess, they're going to put you on to the Supreme Court, and that will be the final. That will be the final grand finale of final battle of this. If all is done and settled, and for any reason, and this is for the discussion purposes, if it goes in the directions of the Cummings, ANC, as they perceive it to be at this time, what would be the political judgments of the ordinary electorates? Would they come to say, oh, this is what Cummings said, and these people want to maintain the status quo. And because of this, okay, the liberal gone off that. Maybe he want to talk to Boyka. I'm Afonso Zane Sort of the Liberia Public Radio. Let me put the number here. Let's engage our people. This is not just only for us. This is for Liberia. In the meantime, let's see here. Courtesy of, I believe it's a Front Page Africa. I'm not sure. That capture this information today of comment, folks. Here, let's give you some of this action here, and then I will be right back. That's what you see that as a temple of justice, that the reappearance of Alexander Cummings. Alexander Cummings today, there the folks were all okay, let's see here. Let's see.
Resisted emotion by government lawyers that this entire trial.
Okay, that's just the appearance of Cummings, courtesy of our sister network crew. Let me just put this number here. Let's have a conversation here quickly. I'm not sure how long we're going to be here tonight. We had a first edition here. The liberal system is, I think his system is not doing him good. So hopefully he comes back on, and then we're going to get this going. So let me put the number out here in the meantime to give your input of what you think going to be the outcome of this court proceeding and who will potentially emerge, because if this is something to be backfired, somebody must pay the political consequences as the result of this action, because this has put CPP into a volatile situation. I'm not sure what going to be the surviving end. I cannot determine that, but from seeing what we're seeing and what the power made it clear today, say they can't try. But that was her own opinion. But I guess someone who gets the support or who gives the support to Alexander Cummings. That's not Cummings' position. But if they can come out with these hard people to say, well, they can't trust these people to do business with them, it's a signal. And interestingly, today it was also confirmed that the collaborations, this federation, is not a closed one; it's an open one. And so that is another thing to do, because all these other political parties, these other groups that are coming together, all they are looking for to get a political accommodation at the end of the day. They're gonna wait and see wherever the wind's gonna blow. These people are looking for political accommodation. They won't be ministers, they won't be directors. They won't work with the highest up. So the strategy here, what I got to know today, that this is an open federation, meaning any other political parties can come. And Cummings echo that on OKFM. So are they having conversation with other people to having plan B in the event of this collaboration, which most likely is on live support and it can be plugged out anytime? Can the ANC, would they have that political power? Of course, they have the resources from all indication, because most of the parties, they are broke. They've registered and have these few handful of people as political parties is because they want to get public attention. So these people, most of them, they're going to cross over here. But let me put this number here quickly while we wait for the laborer to come back. Assistant thing having issue, but hopefully he will be back here. Let me put this number here so that saying what you're saying is victory with, is it to say it is victory one, because other people are pushing to have this case televised. Now we now know that the court has rejected that already. So let me just go to this number here quickly here. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Terry Mezzoso calling from Minnesota.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. So I think my contribution tonight would be about the case on hand. I think we just need to watch the process go on. But in my mind, uh, I think the whole thing have to do with them presenting the evidence, and evidence have to do with they have to do with text messages. Evidences have to do with communication between them. And Yuri is saying that they did not review the document, and they did not affix the signatures to the document before filing. So I think if that is proven, it's going to be a very bad thing for Cummings. So I think in my mind, for them not presenting the evidences today, all of the evidence they want or the court is asking for shows a sign of weakness on their part too. Because I believe if you're suing somebody, you're supposed to have your evidence ready, but then they had to withdraw and go back to go properly search. So I really don't understand.
So
That is
then
the area I'm
on
really
what
confused.
basis they were even suing? Because these are things that you need to gather. I have them compare, and that when you go to the court, you should be ready to go to make your case.
Definitely. So my thing is, why do they have to take 5 days in order to collect evidences of something that they have been preparing for over almost a year? So I really don't understand it. That is the place I'm ready dogma. And one of the things too, if you look at Costa today when he was ready talking, you will see some level of downtrend. All right. I sense some level of downtrend. So apparently these guys do not really have enough clue, enough evidence to charge this case. From my own view now, in as much I'm as really backing them to see what they will really produce. Because for all the loud mouth and all the talking, we by now supposed to have seen some substantial evidences proving that truly, this guy already authored the document, or that their
What
signature for that
power?
properly exist.
What Powell, even though they endorsed, but she vehemently argued here this afternoon because all of those questions were asked. Was there any alteration? Was there any swap in signature? Is there anything? And she said blankly that nothing, absolutely nothing. So they looks confident, they sounds confident of where they are going. So now the key question, if all of this is something, then why? And she also pointed out to say uh the CPP or Senator Nyambly, because when Banana Euro filed in this complaint, she also made it crystal clear that they didn't do enough to have this because there could or should have been an internal process before even coming to the light. That did not happen. So let me ask you, Terry, why are you still here? If this case yet, we don't intend to cut the case right now. So it has to play out. The laborer is back. Let me just bring him in. I think he went to consult the oracles in Town. Apparently, his oracles are in Town to consult them. Before he comes in, if this case push, if this case managed to push in the directions of an ANC, what could be the political implication for Omen Boykai? Because
Well,
Comey, for the first time, Comey, he called his name that he did not do anything. Where the power to rehash that here this afternoon.
yeah, Mr. So in my mind, I think that if the case goes sideways against the three political parties and fall in favor of Cummings, definitely it would turn a huge table for him because it's gonna because boycott. You see, one of the things that boycott is doing that is very scary is that he's not saying anything.
You say it's very what?
It's scary.
What do you mean?
Well, it's scary because silence means consent. Silence is a dangerous weapon for a political party who have for a political leader who have been in the vanguard of the politics in Liberia, looking at the situation going on right now, and he not saying a word. It means it is scary in a sense for the ANC because it means that he have either sided with the Ure group to go as witness against the ANC or against the senator of the ANC because he's not saying anything, he's not speaking at all. That means he concur with the persecution or the persecutors. That is what it means. If he was speaking, then it means that if he was speaking, that means from his tune, we will see some level of calm and balance. But he's not. So it means that he is siding with the persecutor, which happens to be Uric. So if that is so, because we're hearing that they got
What's going
much
on?
more guarantee against this case have to be the former VP and Yombi Kangalan. And if that is the case, that could really make a huge point for the UA group, all right, because they would be direct witnesses against the case. But the era I'm confused at what you said, where the power said that there was no, there was no alteration. Actually, whether to, I don't really want to give in too much to her because it seems like she's a political figure now and she's playing the game because we see how they did with the Liberty Party, she and Musability. So I think she's playing some kind of game that I don't want to fully side with her. But looking at the situation given to us right now, we're seeing that something is going on. Either the government might likely compromise this case due to some level of international interferences, or yeah, or something may happen in regards to compromising behind the scenes. Because like why will you withdraw and not presenting your at least the preliminary evidences for the case to proceed in prosecution? But instead, you decide to withdraw for 5 days. 5 days is they say justice denied. I mean, justice delayed, justice denied. Within 5 days, lawyers can do a lot of things. Many things can happen. Many talking can go on. And you know, we will just see something that will come up and
Okay.
change the whole dimension and say, okay, let them go back to discuss the thing, CPP and all of that.
All right.
So
Thank you
within
so
5
much.
days is a long time for this process.
5 days,
Yes.
yeah, a long time. Maybe something they missed the train, so they try to recalibrate. Let me go to Benson here, and I'll go back to the laborer after talking to the oracles and ancestors from Totem. Maybe they have re-gas him. Yeah, so we will hear from him. These guys calling him. Okay, Benson, go ahead.
Mr. Sue, thanks for the program.
Good evening.
The
Welcome.
laborer, hello, how you doing?
Good.
This issue has, I'm looking at it from twofold. And first and almost like to question. The first thing I want to question is the fraudulence. That's the first thing in this case. He was sued for fraud. What is the fraud? Who went and solicited signatures? It was not Mr. Cummings or any of the secretaries. The person who did it was Mo Ali. So if Mo Ali got Mr. Uri's signature from wherever, he committed the fraud. What he brought was received as authenticated. So if Mr. Uri did not sign it, where did Mo Ali get the signatures from?
Oh my God! You're trying to put Mo Ali in a situation that he can't even handle again. So where are you coming from with this one?
Who collected the signatures? According to everybody in CPP, who collected the signature? Mo Ali himself said he went around to get.
And additionally, perhaps who verified after collection? Was there any verification to make sure everything matches, or they just go and collect it like people having offering? Where they come from with all of this whole thing here collecting? They were not even observing the protocol. So I don't even understand why this thing just came into this whole thing here. Who brought this out here?
This case is a pursuit. Somebody in the room, I think, and that's a question needed to be asked. Who collected the signature and why Mr. Ure said he did not sign? And if Mr. Ure is actually sincere that he did not sign the document, or if the document he signed as presented by Mo Ali to him was not the document that Mo Ali took around, then the question becomes why he didn't just make a copy of the thing, send it at his house, in his office, where he had a copy of. There's a copy of the document that you're signing. So when you ready to present, you say, this is the document I had. This is the document I was brought to me to sign. That's what good people, that's what wise people do. That's what people who think ahead do.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, excuse me, so let me say something about this JMB.
Yeah, quickly, 30 seconds before I go to the next person.
I know my brother, the laborer, supposed to GMB, and I respect his decision. But Mr. Barker has not shown any leadership skill. The thing we're talking about, John, we are not speaking to the people. Mr. Barker got fired in his house, in his own house, PKP, and he has not said anything. I'm afraid. The same quality that will condemn George we have for will be the same quality will condemn Mr. Barker for if he becomes a leader of the Republic.
I don't think the Liberal are going to be. I don't think the Liberal are going to be happy with you on this one here. He will have his day in court as well. 612 number 0274. Are you there?
I'm here, Mr. So it's me, Elvis again. Just calling one more time to give you my quick take on the case.
Okay, quickly go ahead.
Yeah. You know, that's the way I see the case playing out, and also my understanding of the case is not about the signature page. It's actually about the nuances of leaving the CPP. That's what I heard him spoon today. That it's really about how can one exit the CPP if they don't want to be in a collaboration anymore. So I think that's what this case is about.
That's a sort of political ploy trying to figure out a way how to get out of this whole thing here. And so you must create a drama, and then you can just, I'm not getting my way out here. I gotta go.
Right. Yeah. So 1 second, let me get to the point. The way I see the case playing out, I think it's going to really be on a lawyer's toe here. The reason I say that is, as a lawyer, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your client. So Mr. Cummings could simply say, I trust my lawyers to work in my best interest. And if they did anything fraudulent, how am I supposed to know? I'm not a legally trained person. So I think at the end of the day, you'll probably have something like what they call gross negligence on the part of the lawyer. So Mr. Cummings will not be held.
But I don't think it was on Elvis. I don't think it was on Elisha's toe. These are four political parties.
Another lawyer there, but what I'm saying, this whole thing should be on the hands of the lawyers, not the political leader.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
what I'm
blame
saying,
the
all of the
crime for the
parties, they
wrong
are all
side.
accredited to this whole thing there. They should be able to verify and check that the Liberal said. Okay, but man, thank you so much. Somebody has
All right, thank
indicted
you.
the Liberal candidate, so I think he's going into flame now. The Liberal.
Thank you, Mr. So. We have some technical issue here, so I have to go off and come back in. But thank you. Look, Mr. So, I've listened to many of the callers, and then they're entitled to their view, and I'm not here to dispute, disagree with their view. That's their view. Why I might not support it, but it's their view, and they're entitled to it. But this is what I'm going to say. This thing here, as far as Dr. Baka is concerned, I've already addressed that. What I expect out of him, because the thing is in the court at this moment, and for Dr. Baka not to come and make a comment, I think
Prior
it
to the
would.
court, did
Excuse
he,
me?
prior to the court, was there
Mr.
anything out?
So we're not going to go and relitigate 2-3 days. But that's why you and the conservatives wing of whatever we have, that's what you guys do. You're trying, your intent is why the liberal and the progressive are looking in the front. You guys are looking in the view mirror. Forget about that. I'm saying now. So I'm not gonna address that view mirror. I'm driving and you want me to look in the bike? I'm not gonna do that. I might have an accident. I'm looking ahead of myself. Mr. Soul, let me just say this here. I said before, I've already addressed Dr. Baka's situation, what I expect, and I hope that Dr. Baka will listen and do the right thing. Having said that, I think this whole thing, this is my view as well, mine and my own. This whole thing here, I know Comey is going to be found not guilty. I know that. I believe that. But here's what I think will happen here, and it's going to be very interesting. Comey, hopefully, even if he has $1 billion, hopefully will utilize this process and come here in the diaspora and let the diaspora raise fund for his campaign, and he will be successful. Because many Liberians do not like for anybody to take advantage of anyone else. This has always been in our DNA.
No, the campaign only been ongoing. He has a
Yeah,
super
but
PAC.
it's always been our
Here,
DNA.
the ANC Global is a super PAC.
If you go down Waterside, even if you don't know anybody that sell boy, you, Mr. Soldier, coming from America, they take you from the plane and put you to the Waterside, and you see some piggy, some small boy selling a boy, and somebody try to eat a boy for free. You will take your kosu and you will make that man to pay, because it's always in there. No Liberians like to sit by and allow people to take advantage or try to belittle somebody else. They don't like that. And so I said to Kumi and his people, stay out of the press for now. Let the court handle this thing. The international community is watching. Nobody going to mess with Comey on this one. If you're going to go into press and take it into public opinion, then you must be consistent. I'm saying it again. What do I mean by this? If you're going to go into public opinion, which of course Comey will also win in the public opinion, but then you have to come out and do it daily. You can't do it once at a time, like Mr. Soy, if with his conservative view suggesting, and the people are going to consume it, and then the people are going to think about it. No, there's no thinking, nothing here. Give it to them. Give it to them. Look at how much information. This whole case, most likely, would have still happened, but would not have generated this much interest. A Costa has not been involved in using language to describe Comey that got so many Liberians so upset. Many of the Liberians that are
you upset?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
Let me pick up this phone call quick and cool your test. Don't get upset, please. Okay, 404 number here. Thank you for being so patient. 443 Are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Sam, yeah.
Good evening, welcome. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Emmanuel. I come from Minnesota.
Okay.
But my issue is that coming into stay smart, this is about politics. He had to distance himself by his secretary. And yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, you need to distance himself from the secretary and the chairman of the party. Because there are some things they did beyond Comey and they want to destroy him. Because if you carry this up with the government down the road, it's still going to be a problem.
You said there are
The
some
only
things they
thing they
did.
need to
Can
do.
you tell us
So it's not
exactly?
only,
I said, can you tell us or give you a big brief summary? There are some things they did to do
yeah,
for.
because there are some things that went on. There are other issues that went on in that document. And no way you can disprove it. Even moment whatsoever the signing document was done before
You
the time.
sounding so
But it was
definitive that there's no way. Do you have asset to what was author?
yeah, there was a whole lot of authoring that went on that document. And when the government tried to investigate, they're gonna be forming they're gonna bring some way ahead of things that will carry you a deeper problem. The only thing he can do now, he will not have a legal problem. What he need to do, this thing himself from the chairman, huh?
You were listening.
Yeah. He need to distance himself from the chairman because one thing I listened to, I've been following every day, the chairman at that time told him to take responsibility. The responsibility you're telling about, it was holding accountability, checking in people, but he didn't hold it to check man. And this is about leadership. We want a good leader. You are a very nice man. You are a man of credibility, but people want to destroy you. And he keeps for his same secretary and his chairman. They did some altering in that document. And they got to be able to come and take responsibility. And when he go on the line with them in court, he got to assemble himself and he got to distance himself. That's the only thing I see will work for him with credibility. But you go down the line with the government, you're going to go down. And I'll be honest with you, you're a very good man. I love you. You're a very good man. You're a very good leader. But you need to.
Do you support?
Something went on.
Do you support him?
I support him. I support the coming in 2017 election. I supported him. I let my family to vote for him. And voted for him. My people, everyone of them, he supported him.
He still you still supporting him now?
I stay, but my problem is, yes, I do. And I will continue to support him, but he needs.
But how can he? I don't understand the rationale that he should.
There are some people in the party that set him up, and those people did that thing unknown to him, and he can't take responsibility that you don't know. He may not know, but the problem there is that they did it.
I talked to
responsibility. And Johnny Kaka Loving said that take responsibility. And
so why are you taking? Why you want him to take responsibility of something that he claimed he didn't do?
When you get complaints from your camp, address your camp and investigate your camp. And what we call a leadership. You don't come out the conclusion.
No, wait. Listen.
They're going to complain.
Yeah, okay.
They were wrong.
Who are wrong?
They were actually wrong.
Who?
You know what you sort of do? He was sort of wrong his own inside investigation. The inside investigation should be done. Know what really worked.
No, but listen. Let's hold on 1 second. We shouldn't inject our own sentiment into this whole thing here. This is not just only within the ANC. I will be going back to the Liberal shortly. It is a collaboration. It's something that connects the collaboration. On the basis of that, this internal investigation was done. So you can say comment.
But you can remember this. So I don't want to call you up. But you remember one
that's
thing?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, live.
Okay. So there was an internal investigation. So let me ask you this. Do you have access to that internal investigation that was done too?
But you can remember the reaction that was done from the ANC. They tried to attack Bernard Ure. They tried to,
Who opened the wounds of attack first?
They started the wound of attack.
By
when you are there accused for something, do not come and attack individually. And you know.
Okay, well.
No, the internal is not asset, but when you see what the is that.
So let me ask you Okay, before I go back to my mail, let me ask you this. Do you believe, or is it your view, your opinion, your assertion that some author or fingering, whatever term that they could use to coin this whole thing here? Do you think it was done, but it was in assumption to Cummings? Other people did it and Cummings didn't know. Is that what you're saying?
I may not put coming into it because coming you're clean man. You understand?
So then why is he being sued?
Yeah, he been so because people
Is
people
crime transferable?
No, I knew something went all wrong.
No, I'm
no.
asking you whether crime is transferable.
It is not transferable, but sometimes you can investigate within your camp and know what is really going on.
So if it is not a crime, why? That I'm saying it's a correlation. You here, let me set a case study here, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. If you, your brother, or your uncle, and something happened, and they know very well it is not you, it's your uncle, should you be held liable for another adult committing an alleged crime and say,
well, when you're in responsibility, that's why you need to investigate as a leader.
No, but why you're not getting is not Cummings' job to investigate, because Cummings is in a collaboration. What has happened, it affects the institution, the group. So it is the group responsibility to conduct this internal investigation.
This is what I come to because you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? When the allegation was laid for it, he sort of opened an independent investigation.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me go to Liberal State, Massachusetts quickly here. 508 number 6896. Are you there? Yeah. Go ahead. What's your name and where you calling from? This is quite interesting. And we're having different judges.
So my name is Cyrus.
Okay, Sarah, welcome, buddy. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, I think the caller probably who just dropped the line before I called made a salient point. Void of sentiments and emotions. Being a leader, requires you taking the responsibility of an institution that you have, whether be it positive or be it negative. The blame always comes to the leadership, and that's why it requires someone who has that character to be a leader. So let's take, for example, granted that probably Bernard you may have gotten information. From the beginning, he didn't accuse, probably, I don't know, but in the public, there was no accusation say, it was Cummings who did it. So he said, the document that was submitted to NEC is different from what we have.
So then who was allegedly then how Cummings came into the picture?
Probably he told one, maybe that's what I'm saying. In the public.
No, but you are, my dear brother, you are unsure of why you are saying. Probability is not why you're going to care. That's a circumstantial evidence you are talking about right now.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The person would have been that you may have accused him also, or probably internally.
He's been accused. This is why he's been accused. This is why he's in court. Okay, let me before I go back to
the court issue. Before the court issue, what I'm saying.
What is the genesis say how we got to this point here?
Yeah, if this thing could be handled internally within the CPB, among the leadership, that XYZ thing happened.
And I ask, okay, and I asked this question here today. I asked this question today to Madam Water Power. I like to speak to people who are close and who are connected to the story. Whether it is true or false, they are saying it. At least I gave them the opportunity to get the outside version, and we will hopefully extend our invitation to Nyomli. According to her, she said the internal investigation by the CPP after this complaint was filed by Benana Yuri, Senator Kanga did not, in her view, did not do well. This is why they got to this point. So let me set a thing here before I go to my guy here. He's not going to be a. We are running a network LPR. If for example, let's say we're partnership with another institution to do whatever we can. If member of LPR is accused of doing something, it is different. Then when the executive, the leadership will come in and say, okay, we are taking initial responsibility of this. However, LPR will conduct our own internal investigation. But when LPR here is accused of an alleged crime, obviously you are become a factor, you are become a player to the At that point, there's nothing you can do. All you have to do is allow the process to take place. 30 seconds before I go to my man.
Yeah, so this is my point. This issue came up, and I expected the leadership of the CPB. So you don't expect Wedding Power to tell you that Yombli Kanga is absolutely not to be blamed for what is done. So what I will suggest, as we seek the truth, because you and I were not behind the curtains, but I think they have a committee that was set up. So I would think that probably some members of that committee need to be brought on the show to be able to give us what they found out in the process of the investigation. But again, just to make my point to conclude, I think leadership has to do with taking responsibility. Even like take for example, I think you are the head of your station. So if all goes well in the station, we say, oh, Alfonso is doing well. And as you receive this compliment, you also forward it down to your team that play that role for you to be able to reach that epsilon or zenith. So likewise, if things goes wrong, even though not you who did it, but the fact that some member of your team, may have been the reason for that negative feedback that come to you, it is part of your responsibility to say, oh, I'm sorry the public for how my team behaves, but we will be able to work on it.
All right, thank you so
much. He may
not
apologize to the public, but his colleagues, they could work that team with him. And by now, we're gone.
Oh,
but look at where it is now.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. This is quite interesting. The liberal.
Mr. So let me just say here very quickly here on LPR, when we do something, when things are right, it's me, Samson Toh. I make it right. If something go wrong, then we blame the CEO. That's how we do it here on LPR, my man. They're not something go right, then we praise Mr. CEO. No, if something go right, they come to me. They say, Mr. Toh, LPR is doing good. But when something go wrong, then we'll go to the CEO. Let me set that record straight. No, on a very serious note, Mr. So, look, I laugh because all of these things these people are saying here tonight, all of the callers. Months ago, I was out here suggesting to alleviate all of the pain that we're experiencing now, and many Liberians are experiencing pain. Let me say this again, because their hopes were on these people so badly. It is unbelievable. And so to see all of the hard work, imaginary or true, I don't care, but all of the hard work Liberian people were hoping or they have done, to see it going down the drain, it's very painful. Months ago, Mr. So, I was suggesting that Honorable Cummings take responsibility and let's move on. Let's move on. That wasn't happening, and it didn't happen. Now, I'm not going to relitigate the issue and try to be up like a kumbaya here with you and myself here tonight. No, I'm a liberal, you're conservative. There's no kumbaya here between you and myself. As simple as that. We're here to discuss issue, and I know my point of view is right, and your conservative point of view is wrong. That's what it is, and that's how it's going to be. Now, Mr. So, let me, before whatever you did here where you're kicking me out and we're going to blame it on technology and what have you because the liberal was on the roll and people were praising the liberal and what have you, you kicked me out. And I believe the
you just apologize here to the viewer that your system, there was a technical problem.
Mr. So, because, okay, let's drop that issue. Let's forget it. But don't hold me on that one and change it.
Is that how you're going
and try to now you want to hold me down, tie me down. Let's forget it. Forget it. I made that statement. No, but on a very serious note, Mr. So, look, this whole thing. Let me say this again. I would suggest to Kumi and his people, and this has been my talking point for the night, and I will end on that. And that is, Mr. So, Kumi and his people need to take this thing out of the hand of a public opinion. Let the court take its responsibility. And if the court is wrong, the court watchers will say so. Either way, Comey is going to be on top. There's nothing coming out of this that will harm Comey except for bruised ego and bruised character. But that's Liberian politics. That's Liberian politics. You decide to jump in there. It's just a dirty game.
Okay. Are you done?
There's nothing strange about it. So let's give it. But if Cummings, and that's fine with me as well. If his people decide to go in a public opinion, taking this whole issue into public arena for sympathy, for public opinion to be on their side, it will happen. The public will come towards Comey. And in fact, if Comey and his people take it into public opinion, Dr. Baka and his people are going to be harmed because the public will not understand why Dr. Baka is being silent. Now, all of that is good, but if you're going to do it, you must be consistent. You must do it regularly so that the people's mind will be open to the whole thing. What CDC-led government and Benula Yuri have done without realizing.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. You're not going to do roller skating here. I'm looking at you and you know what I'm going to come. I'm about to denounce you and bring you out here to the public. Cummings should apologize. This is the same something too who started with this red meat, who started with this whole soundbite when this thing started, when some of us saw it from a distance and try to take a holistic approach, not putting your partisan garment, that this was not right. Something told here was deliberate. He was defending. It is not our business. We should stay out of CPP business. In fact, what they were doing, they were having fun. They were playing, and everything going to sit down here. And you want to come here to pretend like you are an innocent child, and you were on the network. You were almost like a Carson talker, even though you say you are a liberal, and you were trying to denounce and reject people of their vote, allowing them to exercise their democratic exercise. You try to denounce that. You came up with this. Okay, Boyka is being on this person with his vice experience. Let Comey go on. Let this other person go on top. You were preaching all of those soundbites here, and we came out here and told you this was not. Hold on. This was not a way to go, and you give a justifications of your action. You know, they are children, whatever they're doing, and you're coming back here now to tell us to why. So why is he taking responsibility? Why is he? Because that's another way to apologize. Why is he doing that,
Mr. So? I said here before.
Don't talk like a baby. When you were talking there, you were loud. You had a loud voice.
Mr. So, the liberal, when I'm on the road, when I know what I'm saying is resonating to a lot of people, with a lot of people, and what have you.
Why do you always like to see public sentiment?
Who's nobody resonating with anything? Speak. You see, this is what you do as a conservative. That many of my supporters that sympathize with my view tend to criticize you because your hate for the liberal view is just immense, and people can't see that. So let me say this, Mr. So. I told you before, in a setting, in a group setting, if you're in a group situation, most of the time for the group to be successful, I believe, an individual ideas, an individual power, an individual proudness is negative to the group. If you're in the group, group interest supersede individual interest.
So who is proud now in this?
Mr. So, the liberal is talking. And I told you guys, you were in the central right, and of course the professor, CDC professor at the time, I told all of you that Honorable Cummings, this thing was on his watch. The confusion, whatever it was, he was the leader at the time. Put everything aside and put Liberia first and say, look, let's go and have our meeting. All of the political leaders. When Bernard Europe brought this thing up immediately, Kumi or whoever should have gone in and said, let's have our meeting. What happened here? What is going on? That didn't happen. Okay. But like I said, I'm not going to relitigate this thing.
No, let's
Another
read
thing,
that
even
again. We need
Mr.
to get to the
So, even though I'm not going to
bottom line.
relitigate, but let me
No,
disabuse
you
you a
are
little
trying
bit.
to be,
Let me
you are
bring
trying to
you
cherry
to let
pick,
me
you are
bring
trying to
you
be
to
selective of
reality.
your talking
Mr.
points.
So, let me bring you to reality and disabuse you a little bit.
Go ahead.
You said, and I agree, I stated that. I wanted Kumi to go second to Dr. Bakai. No question of, and I still say that.
Why?
And he has some of the reason. At the time, I didn't want to argue that. Because as someone who seeking the interest of unity, you don't try to pull here and there. You just make a general statement, and those who will understand. At the time when I was making this statement, here are some of my calculations at the time. Number one, 2017 election in a collaborating political party. Dr. Bakai came first. Then it was the Limited Party. Then it was Kumi. Then now you got who knows. And from that perspective, I was saying to myself, without me coming here to announce it at the time, that if you do this, Liberty Party said they're not going to put anybody in. Kumi has 7%. Baka have what, 38 or something percent or more. So if you do that and you put those people in, the voters that voted back in 2017 plus more will understand the dynamic. That was my argument. Now,
do you still stand by it today?
Well, not at this time. Not because there's a lot of things that happen.
So you were on the wrong side of history.
No. What do you mean? Have you seen the liberal on the wrong side of history before? I just told you about the Rest Riot, 1979. I was on the right side. I was in the street. Mr. So, I was in the street on the right side of history. 1980, I was in the street on the right side of history. Of course, the war, I wasn't there. So I don't know what side.
I don't understand where you're going this evening.
Mr.
I don't get it.
Please, can you allow your take your sound? You're not quite audible. You're talking to the liberal. And so, if you want my audience and my follower to follow you, what you're saying, you gotta speak up a little bit louder because these kinds of conservative. Because you and the Ted crew and the Leslie Grant, when you guys think are going wrong, then you try to stop solve like something else. But right now, the liberal is speaking. So please let me finish. The point here, Mr. So, Liberian politics. If you don't know how to get in, you will get burned. And let me say this here again. Kumi will come on top. No question asked. Kumi should handle this thing here in the court opinion, not in public opinion. Let those who are responsible, the supporters, they will talk. And when Kumi came on your show, I asked him a question. How do you handle the issue of your supporters going at each other? Your supporter and Dr. Bakar's supporter going at each other. And Kumi assured us that those are some of the things that he's intent to fix. Now, the supporter themselves, they can go at each other. No, I'm not concerned about that. But let this thing be handled in the court opinion. Let Kumi help to build a court institution for once. Don't come out of the courthouse when they ask you, no comment. Then the lawyer talk. You're done. And people are complaining about why is it that the court decided they shouldn't televise this thing here. Why must you have a television in the courthouse? Because it's coming. How many court proceedings have we watched in the last 2-3 months? Is it because it's coming now? You want camera in that place? I said nonsense.
Is that why you're going right now again? Is that why you pivotal? Wow.
Mr. So I'm just being truthful. I don't care where the truth lies. I go after the truth. Even if the truth is against me, I will say it.
Yeah, you are being intellectually dishonest. Those are the words you use. Yeah, because what you're saying here. Oh, who this guy here? Well, we'll soon be leaving out of here. Let me just pick this call out here. Hello, 612, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name and where you coming from?
Yeah, there's a real liberal and calling. I want to confront that fake liberal and putting him in his place. And in the place.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
calling for Tennessee.
Can you repeat what you said?
This is a real liberal calling for Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
and I'm calling to put that fake liberal in his place.
Or the fake liberal.
Yeah, that fake liberal. I want to put it in his place.
Oh my goodness. Are you giving him thumbs up still?
Yes, of course.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Is the liberal listening?
He listening
Or the
loud?
fake liberal?
No, the fake liberal listening. He there. He listening.
Okay. All right. Now, I understand we try to be liberal with the truth, and then also want to be liberal with the lies too as well. So we're trying to find that balance. But here's the fact here, and that's why the other day I was on here, and I tried to be very critical of this platform, and everybody were in their feelings and they were coming out and they took offense to that. You know, but we're in the business of critiquing each other. We should be able to at least have the thick skin, not be thin skinned about it. Look, I listen to you guys, and I will say again, I'll repeat myself. Perhaps you guys are not under that the burden of that professional journalism to be able to report the story as it is, or to chronically or chronologically follow the story and do an investigative journalism and come up with the fact. Perhaps it's just about entertainment. Perhaps it's just about sensationalizing things. But the evidence, the information is available from the beginning, from the genesis of this whole fabricated lies, this whole misinformation and disinformation that the status quo, the Yuri, the Joseph M. Boaka, the Nyongli Kanga, all of them fabricated and put together to lynch this decent and man of integrity. It's been there. You as a professional journalist institution, you have a story. When you came out here,
where's the story? Where's the story?
When you started with his accusation, he provided a letter that detailed as to what was his complaint. And all the bigger word, the special adjective he continued, you were using in that letter for what? Accusing Collins of authoring the document and fingering the document according to his son, the other liar man, Henry Costa. Now,
you see, hold on. Let me hold you there, Prince. You know, you guys try to be very condescending, and that is ridiculous. Hold on.
Don't say you guys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you are part of the. Will you listen to me? I'm telling you because there was other. Will you listen to me?
We put people in a category and we kill them.
Okay, if you're not listening to me, I will cut you out. This is complete nonsense. You came here the other day and you said something here talking about entertainment. You people are the one even supporting Cummins. You're not even doing Cummins the right thing. Where is the entertainment that we're doing here? Don't bring that crap. You know,
Mr. So,
come here and talk something and yes, you want to say people want to
Mr.
get you
So,
what's wrong with you?
Mr. So, may I say this here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Prince, the last time you sent a link here, and he said he was going to come on. He never showed up.
I've extended this gentleman invitation.
He never. So Prince is just one of those. Don't even respond to him. Don't respond to him.
You know me.
He is limited. Prince is limited. Prince has no clue what he's talking about. So let us don't waste our time with him. If Prince feels he has an opinion to offer, let him take on the challenge and come and face the liberal here. I would totally, intellectually destroy him. He has nothing.
He has nothing. What I've come to realize.
So Prince, if you're listening to me, please come on and ask for the stuff and see here and face the liberal. And like I said, intellectually, I would destroy you intellectually. You're gonna come here and insult Costa? Henry
I'm not
Costa,
even
you're
talking
gonna come
about
here
that.
and insult Henry Costa,
I'm
and
not
you
even
think I'm gonna
talking about
sit here
that.
for you to do that?
Insulting
Come
Costa.
on this show, and I will intellectually destroy you, and you will never go on any other show
I'm not
again.
even talking about that. Part of that is their inability, whether they are sympathizers or they are supporters of people, they all lack the political tolerance. And they think they're just going to throw jabs at anybody and you think you walk away? No, that's not going to, that's not, this, we don't do that here on this network. We are having a concrete conversation here. We have discussed in length of this letter being thrown by, you're not close to the authority. You have no idea. A sentiment that is driving you, and you are coming to a conclusion to render a verdict. That's not how we do here. It is not our job to convict people. We give everybody the opportunity. We look at the merits and demerits. We scrutinize, we analyze, and give you the opportunity to make your case. That's what we should do. That's what we are doing. So we are not in the entertainment industry to tell us the facts that are there. What makes you, why are you saying that? What makes it the facts? This is ridiculous.
Mr.
And
So, let's
these are
try
the
to get off
people
of
that,
Prince. Let's
no. Yeah,
let's
we
get
will
out of
soon
this
be
Prince
wrapping up.
situation.
I mean, we have had a long program here today, but part of our commitment to keep the audience in bay, I mean, to keep the audience equipped and to follow our time schedule, this is what we need to do. But people too must also understand, do not incite your own personal feelings or what you think. The interpretations of the law is different from that of your own personal or opinion. That's not how it works. What you can do is to articulate and be very strategic in making your case so that people will understand you. But when you want to come and put everybody in a basket of deplorable, that's not what's going to happen here. That's why the same board didn't they hear the other day. They go on this other side, they talk one thing, they come so they talk one thing, they call so they talk, because they simply want people to tell them or talk things that they want to hear. That's not our traditions on this network. We don't necessarily tell you what you want to hear. We tell you what you need to know. This is why when this thing happens, we give you a critical conversation. We extend invitation to, yes, Mr. Cummings were here. We were gracious. We went through the process, and we
Mr.
can
So,
have a lot of
let me
argument here.
just say this here. Let me just
So why you want to
repeat.
come tell people here?
Mr. So, let me just repeat some of the things Prince said, which I believe is very limited. You're gonna come on here, and you have no degree in psychology or whatever, and you're gonna come and say the fake liberal. What is your evidence? None. You think he's gonna come here and challenge me? I will intellectually destroy him. You're gonna come out here and call me a fake liberal. How do you determine that? What criteria are you using
Everybody in this sort of conspiracy
to
theory.
call me fake
Everybody are
liberal?
in conspiracy.
What are
Just
some
come up with
what
judgment without having an idea.
what are the right liberal? How do you know what the fake liberal look like and what is a genuine liberal look like? And then he went on to say we have to find. This is how limited he is. I haven't called me fake liberal. Then he comes out and said we're going to have to try to liberalize fault or lies. You're going to liberalize lies, and then we're going to liberalize truth. A truth is a truth. A lie is a lie. You don't liberalize anything. And this is if Prince that going to face this liberal, it's going to be my day. I'm going to have a
That's
field
a
day on
different
him,
thing.
and I'm going to intellectually destroy him because he's very limited. Mr. So let's move on and see if we can bring this program to a close.
We got a few minutes to go. I mean, we first of all, we are not. We take seriously what we do. We take seriously what we do. It is our profession. So we don't take sides. We try to make the information proportional. And this is why and I've said that here consistently, the Boyka and all the other actors, we have extended an invitation. We can go pour knives to their throat. We don't create a drama because we want to get a side of attraction. Yes, people that have access to this information, people that are engaged with this conversation, those are people we like to speak to. Those are people we like to talk to. not people who have 4, 5, 6 hand information within the same conspiracy business because it doesn't go their way or they want their interpretation. No, we need to discourage that. If we want Liberia, this is about Liberia. And whatever fight that Comey is in, I don't think he's in it for himself. And he said that on this network. That is, he wants to change the status quo. And I believe all other parties that are arguing, that's what they believe. But the only way we can do that is to also give them the opportunity and for us not to be judgmental. And for you to come here to tell us, how do you know that we're not doing our investigative journalism? You think we can just wake up and kind of sit down without having the outlines of our conversation? No, people need to be educated. These are the people that are making the target audience of the very people that they support. They become condescending. They are unable to persuade people. Information sharing is all about communication, your ability to interpret. That's a different, that's where most of the people, and that's what I can say I give edge to Kishen. 99% of his time, his talking point, all you hear out of him, comments. He doesn't want to be president. It's not about him. The person that you support, it is the person's agenda. It is the person must be the driving force. But now with them, they want to make force with everybody. How do you persuade? How do you even get? You make it difficult. And we talks about the surroundings of other people. Come on. Look, the Liberal is 9:08 Eastern Standard Time. I know you've been having you've been struggling tonight heavily. From all indications, you're not getting your way through. So, but I had a program today, and like I said, we're going to reach out with. Can you please help our Liberty partisan to persuade to convene Nyombli Kanga Lawrence or any of the inside?
Have you had this young lady on here tonight, this evening, who tried her best to sanction my political leader? Do you want me to talk to my political leader to appear on La Bropa Radio? But Mr. So, I'm not going to do that.
Oh. Kishen, well, just call. I will just try to wrap up here. But I mean, sometimes people need to have a boundaries. Yeah, you are at liberty to. There are millions network all around here. You are at liberty to go and find.
Well, he was here the last time. He's here again tonight. So most likely we must be doing some good thing.
I'm not even with doing good. What we do here, we do it. We take it seriously. Kishen, I don't know. The phone call here. Let me see here. I don't know. Oh God. Let's see here. Let me see. Let's see here. Hopefully the number is right. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Mr. So. I know that the number is confusing you.
Yeah, you get all kinds of number then here. So go ahead, the general.
I own my phone and I'm using my wife's phone to call you.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, your thanks for the show, and and it's not an easy thing. I know you guys sitting out there the whole day trying to get the message out. It's a hard thing. But I just want to tell Mr. So and Mr. To, I listened to him, and what I would say is CPP, we are still fighting. Mr. Cummings will abide by the laws of Liberia. One thing is that it's not an easy thing to stop the supporters from talking. The public will continue to speak, but Mr. Cummings will not just speak on this issue. He will attend every court appearance. But one thing I want to say, Mr. To, at the end of the day, I know you will be on board. You will support Mr. Cummings. I know that very well. Right now, when the dust settle, everything going to be fine for Liberia. Mr. Cummings is in this thing for Liberia. It's not about Mr. Cummings. It's not about me. That is why I say I'm not here to promote myself. I'm here to talk for Mr. Cummings because I believe that he's still the best candidate. He's the only man that's speaking about the economy. He's the only man that's talking on security. He's the only one that's going around the country making the case, and that's how politics is supposed to work. So, but Mr. To, at the end of the day, I know you will support Mr. Cummings. It is your right to support whoever you want to support.
You want to cross the Liberal over?
Oh no, I will bring him over at the end of the day. He will be part of it. He's in the opposition group. No matter what, at the end of the day, he will canvass for Mr. Cummings. So I know that very well. But for now, he got a side, which is a good thing. You know, I love competition, but I think Mr. Cummings, his man with principles, he said it before you close, Mr. So he said it in the first time they talk about this framework. His suggestion was bring the lawyers that did this thing. If the lawyers come out and say that the paper that they gave us was not right, I will apologize. But they never listened to him. Instead, they put a committee together. Then later on, they went back to the lawyers. What you expect the lawyers to have to politicize in the whole thing? But you see now today, our lawyers is saying that they're going to subpoena all the records, all the WhatsApp records, everything going to come up. And I'm happy that you agree because televising the case ain't make no sense. There are other better cases that were in that country that refuse to televise it. Even if they put it on TV, how many persons in Liberia going to watch it? Or they want to show it because of us in Liberia, in America? So, but at the end of the day, they're going to subpoena everything. The lawyers, when push comes to shove, the lawyers will come, they will subpoena the lawyers, they are witnesses. So we will really worry about this case here. You know, they're just trying to slow Mr. Cummings down, that man believes to slow him down. And then with all the rigmarole that are going on, they just promoting him every day. And as you said, at the end of the day, he'll be on top of the ticket. He will be there. There will be other people who will join the CPP if they decide to leave. But I want to say the show was great today. I didn't watch it. Just last minute time I started.
I'm looking forward. I'm talking with the ANC folks the same way with, in fact, all of the stakeholders in the coming days or so. I will be in Liberia to want to have face the microphone to right in their face and look in the eyes. We want to talk on issues of substance, not these I kind of funny thing here. We see that as a distractions. I want to know these people economic, social, infrastructure, health, plans for the country. You know, these are things that we're supposed to be asking these politicians, especially those who are seeking for the higher office. Unfortunately, there are other people under the wing of shadow. They don't want to come out. They want to be selective. And we will call them out when the time comes. And we will start to call them out as long as we extend them the invitation that they don't know. We'll still say that. I'm looking forward to having that sort of
and you know,
engagement.
I know Mr. Toad don't like to hear this when I say So is my favorite journalist. He's part of the
Don't mind it, don't mind it. Oh, the guy is fantastic.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
The man is going off.
I wanted to reply to Christian, but he come out with that kind of thing now.
Although I disagree with you, but you like to put him in his corner before the liberal.
The liberal, one day the liberal will boycott, another day he will come in, another day he will where he needs to road. He's just all over the place like something. I don't understand. Yeah, we're not gonna get. He's spoiling.
Nice. Y'all keep up the work. We got to fight. Your responsibility is to educate the Liberian public.
All right.
Member of the fourth estate. And I tell people, journalists are not friends with government.
Oh, no. I don't even have no friends. Remember when we come here, I mean, there's no inner something. We live from here, we have a friend. That's it.
Right? They teach them and give them the right information instead of giving them false information. But anyway, it's not
okay, my man. Yeah, we gotta go there. Thank you so much, Jeremy. All right.
Very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. So,
okay, so Liberal, what's your closing statement?
No, I'm not closing the man just because you're not crying, you good journalist, you want to close me up now. I beg you. I'm the good journalist. But Mr. So, on a very serious, let me just say this here to our friend Christian here. Look, I am not supporter of ANC because ANC is very close to CDC. They're not too far. They're not far apart. I'm not even a supporter of Unity Party because a Unity Party, they're not too far away from Madam Celine either. I'm a member of Liberty Party, but I do support truth. Truth. Whenever the truth is, I see it, I call it. Whether you like it, this is why I say, my ain't saying you more, you ain't saying my more. I'm Bloku. You know what Bloku is? Elephant skin. Nothing can move me. You can't move me. Their face, you see, I ain't got no steam face. That's why I say. But look, Alexander Cummings, I've always stated that, and I think Mr. So and all his conservative right-wing talk show hosts, and including the center right, they will attest to that. Mr. Cummings, I know that he has a leadership ability, but Mr. Cummings does not have the connection in Liberia. So, Mr. Cummings, I thought could have gone second. But here's what's happening right now, that changing my thinking. The fact that I wanted Honorable Cumming to go on Dr. Bakai to establish himself, I think this court proceeding most likely is doing that job. If by the time the court issue is over, because eventually, Ben now you're going to take it to the Supreme Court if he doesn't win. And when they get to Supreme Court, the case is going to be bigger. And the fact that they're going from court to court, where I wanted Cummings to go on Nimbaka and demonstrate his leadership ability, Cummings going to demonstrate his leadership ability on the case from court to court. He's going to show why he should be the next leader of the Republic of Liberia. He's going to demonstrate that. So I'm happy with this court case. I'm happy. I'm happy all the time. However, when this thing is said and done, Dr. Bakai must come.
I've been getting CDC call. So who does CDC man?
They know themselves. Well, this is what I'm going. Turning sedition, you call here, make yourself available. We'll let you talk. And not because you're turning sedition, we'll not let you talk. You got the right to talk. This is a public radio. You call in, you have the right to talk. Express yourself. We might not agree with you. We're not going to agree with you because I got a dossier full of a binder full of error from CDC here during the election, and I will show you guys. But I need to temper myself a little bit. But Mr. So, before I take leave of you here this evening, let me say this again. You brought in a lady today, and you had a wonderful interview. For me, that interview was one-sided. That interview, the lady tend to be someone who gravitates towards sanctioning people view. In other words, it seemed to me, because she didn't distance herself from Musability, so apparently they and their type of Liberty Party, their kind of Liberty Party, they want people who are the leadership of Liberty Party to be sanctioned. In other words, don't make your view known. You are not an individual.
Which of the Liberty Party wing do you support, if I may ask?
The Dallas Dillon, the honorable senator for Grand Bassa County, the political leader, the true political leader of Liberty Party. My own sister, Honorable Lawrence, is the Liberty Party. You know, quite recently for Christmas, she had Liberty Party in your area for the women. Mr. So this is what people engage in. You come on Lpr and
they have what? They have a party?
Excuse me?
She have a what party?
She had a gathering, to tell the Liberty Party women thank you. When was the last time the lady you brought here today? When was the last time she said something to? And that's why you guys, I wish I was here today, because I was going to let her know that her Liberty Party is not the real one. Our Liberty Party, the Yomli Kanka Liberty Party, is the real Liberty Party. It's the Liberty Party where we have.
Can you help to, because can you help to expedite our message to your sister that we can have a conversation?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because this is not a friendly platform.
What do you mean? Her. It's not a friendly platform?
Yeah, we're looking for friendly. Ain't the people going around, they go to the Spoon, because those are the friendly platform for them. So I would say we look for a friendly platform too.
All right. I have a number. I will still call her
you can call. No, on a very serious note. I think what you demonstrated here tonight, on a very serious note, when this lady came on, she was called, she was afforded the opportunity to express herself freely. The respect was there. It's not on other network where they say, oh, the way your politics, your crook, your stealing and things that, none of that stuff. Here, when we bring you, even if you're as corrupt as King Kong, corrupt King Kong gorilla, we don't call you that. Even if you're stealing, your hand is cut in the cookie jar. This is not until you're found guilty by competent jurisdiction. Other than that, we don't bring those things up. We bring you here, ask you tough question, and you're going to answer it. If you don't answer it, it's up to you. But we will be truthful with you. We'll be
I think
respectful.
you're being a little bit judgmental here. Is it the alignment of Madam? Because I did even ask that question just to get that ball out there as to what her decision-making process with the Liberty Party has anything or any influence directly or indirectly working for her stability. And she provided her answer. And you're trying to rewrite history about her answer here. You're being a little bit subjective here.
No, I'm not. I'm just Mr. So I'm entitled to my views. These are my views. I'm entitled to it. You're also entitled to your view to
Yeah, but
characterize
as
my
an
view the way you
angle,
see
as a
it.
presenter, your view does have the ability to, I kind of send a wrong signal. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. If I am questioning you, my question based on the
So
information
do
that,
you accept the answers she provided today?
of course, that's her answer. She's not. I'm not going to make her to answer any other way than what she have to answer. But that doesn't mean I should accept it.
Well, it must, Prince. I mean, like I said, you guys know me. There's some rough side of me. If you think you're gonna put you, I gave you the opportunity, and when you think you're gonna come here to disrespect people here, no way. We're not gonna give that. We're not gonna provide that sort of breeding ground here. That's not what we're gonna do. We give you the opportunity to speak your mind. You can disagree with all, but for you to come with your subjective views and concluding it, and you think you're going to walk free, no, that's not what it's not going to happen here. I guarantee. Not when I'm on air here. That's not going to happen. This is why people call. We all must be held accountable and responsible of our comments, things that we say, and we do hold some of our folks here accountable some of the things that they say. Equally, the callers must be held accountable because you're throwing the red meat out there, and we must make sure too that he answers all of the questions that you have to come. So it is what it is. We hold nothing against anybody, but if you come here and you think you're gonna have a kind of a march on Zion, like you something that's not gonna happen. Okay, Liberals, I want to thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say?
Before that, I know we're going to be on here come Friday.
Oh man,
But
Liberal, the people are slamming you again. Look at what Mr. Sanders, they say, wow, I taught the Liberals too for the rule of law. You see that? Liberal, you are having a very bad night.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
You are having
That's
a
fine.
very bad night. You are having a
This is
very
what
bad.
they say in
Look at my man. Look
country.
at my man Nimland. Yeah, I was looking for him, Mr. Toe, a man with.
That's fine. That's fine. This is
So
what
you
the
are,
people
you are
say.
a chameleon. Oh man, this guy gonna have a night.
Mr. So, this is what people say. People calling your name when you do bad, they call your name. You do good, they still calling your name. So it don't matter. It don't matter to me. But this is what I want to say. On Friday we're gonna have a show, and I hope to have the center right with us here, and also to have the young man from Nairobi to be with us here as well, because I like his views, because he tends to be
Why are you involving this sort of stereotype thing? What do you mean by a
Mr.
man
So,
from
the
Nairobi?
liberal
You don't know
speaking.
his name?
What I like about this young man from Nairobi, Mr. Weir, what I like about him from
Wow.
Nairobi is that he comes in and he doesn't rush himself, and he's very truthful. Let's put it that way. But it's still difficult for me to put him in a mold. But I will do my best. I don't see him as a liberal, so I'm not going to weave in towards my side. I don't see him as far right either. I don't see him as center, maybe moderate. I'm not too sure yet, but I will get to that.
He's moderate.
No, I don't think so. He lives in Nairobi, isn't he?
What is the problem with this young man living in Nairobi?
He's a conservative. He's a conservative. The man used to be a teacher, a conservative. He's very smart. Very smart. He's a conservative. Very smart.
Wow.
So we were the professor is no longer with us. I hope he will join us from time to time. But let's meet on Friday, Mr. So, and
Yeah.
I
And
will
like I
want to
said,
be.
making my rounds of calls, I've spoke with few people. You see, this is a frustration.
Why don't you try to bring in the next president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Bakai? Why don't you try to get
How many
Lace
times?
with
Who? How many times?
George Lobo? George Lobo promised you you're going to bring Dr. Bakai.
George
What
Lobo,
happened?
he's another one who doesn't fulfill his promise. George Lobo promised that you are going to bring Darius DeLong here. Even though the last 2-3 years I went to Darius DeLong, we had a conversation, extended invitation to Darius DeLong. I wrote a letter where Eber Plaki was his political advisor. For some reason, that's your God, that's your light. Why not you talk to the light for the light to come so we can all see?
No, the light doesn't even know me. He doesn't even know me. He doesn't even know me.
Nobody wants to know you.
That's okay. That's okay. I know who I am.
Yeah, no, I talked to Lobo. I'll try to reach out to Gaia Families and maybe Kezo and see, because especially I want to have a face-to-face in the next couple of days, week, when I'm in library, and that's what I'm doing. We'll try as much as possible. Those who will unveil themselves, we'll give them the opportunity to tell their side.
He wants to see my country.
You see what?
You see how my name is all ringing tonight, Mr. So. I'm not looking at it from a negative point of view. My name is ringing, and Liberian people love me. You know who I sound like now, right? I sound so ridiculous at this point. The Liberian people love me. They love my name.
Nimle, Josh, Nimle, the old man would never change. Forget it. Yeah, man. It's just unbelievable. All right, my man.
I want to no, seriously. Let me just say this. I want to thank all of the viewers, those who've been writing. Look, when we come to these things, the way I look at
Robert Katie asked you not pay your due.
Man, what you probably do?
Because what they call well, he said, she said the suspension going to be enforced until these people meet up with their obligation.
Well, I'm not paying my due, my Liberty Party due. No, I don't mind paying due. But what is the representation here with the Liberty Party here in the USA? They don't have voices.
I really want to have Senator Kanga. I talked to her the last time we talked was, she said, and I mean, her point was very strategic. It was very political, and that's the best thing to do. That this whole thing was at the highest height, and it was not a proper time to have a conversation. Now I don't know whether it's blown up, whether it can be fixed, because these are the people we really need to hear to. But it's another thing that when you talk to these people, that we agree, and by the time you think about putting some sort of promo out there, they come and say, "Oh well, because of X, Y reason, we can't come," or but we will try. We'll give everybody the fair share.
Let me say this here to the audience before you leave, Mr. So. When we come out here, especially me, when I come out here, and I think that goes well as for Mr. So as well, and that is when we come out here, we're going to be truthful. It doesn't matter what the truth lies. I will be truthful no matter what. I'm going to say as I see it, and people might not agree with me. They might call me whatever name, but that's not going to change my position. The best thing I can do for myself and my audience is when I face the camera, when it comes out of my mouth, and I leave from here and go lay down. I don't want to be turning, thirsty, and say, "Oh, did I say this?" No, I want to be happy as long as my God knows that what is coming out of my mouth is what I believe is the truth. Then I have no more.
Lasana Camara has added insult to injury. What is the difference between Kev and Mr. Two? Why would this guy ask this question? Wow.
Well, okay, all right.
You know what? We need to end the show. You are having a nightmare.
I think we need to. They're really taking me to the cleaner right now. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.
No, so our guys here. We always respect their view. We really appreciate them. And that's what I said. We need to take charge of the situation in Liberia. Only the electors, we Liberians, needs to take charge, not these politicians, because these politicians, they are there, they are in it for something, not even these so-called advocates, because the bottom line, these people need the one political accommodation at the end of the day. All the people that are talking here, all the people that are talking whole day, they are vain stressing. You think what 40 people eating that for nothing? Of course, they want to be like Carrasco. They also want to be like so many other people. You think I'm gonna? If I decide to talk for somebody, I will not take a back seat because you know why? When you always a spectator, you get the you don't get the flesh, you get the bone. I want to be in there that my voice will be out there. So we're not going to take a back seat in the bar. Hey, what we for us here at LPR, we have individuals who have their own political views or opinion, but we decide not to do that because when we do that, we narrow, especially as one of the lead angles, then we narrow the scope. If I say I'm an ANC supporter and I can't make that public declaration, how comfortable that Boyka, Ambassador Boyka, want to talk to me? How comfortable that Ambassador the president, wants to talk to me? Because I already have a side. You know,
Read the last comment. Read the last comment.
where is it?
Oh, he's gone. No, it's the second to the last.
Come to the show. Lasana will. My man, Lasana, you need to donate that first. Don't we gotta wait for Nyamdi to come? That one I agree with you. Okay, let me push Lasana a little bit. I bet you that's our cash out number here. I need to put it on. Let me see. And I will call Nyamdi 555 times in a week to make sure that somebody put a bet. That's it. Well, I mean, she has the right. We don't. All we need to do is to extend the invitation for them to come. We are talking with the coming folks again.
Let me recognize one of our young brother here. Oteva Gilman is watching as well. Oteva, good evening to you as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Gilman, I don't know which way he's now from Mel Jones. He was one time, I believe, was heavily involved in the Dallas. You know, these people, these young people, they don't listen. Even the various Dallas, where he said the George Lobo. So for them now, I just do not believe and trust them because they have made a wrong calculations in the past. People who were with Boycott, they came to ANC, who were with I do the so all they come here, I thought what I thought. No, that's an obituary announcement. This is
Mr. So this is what they call politics. Not everyone can read into the crystal ball.
So these people, they need to be a little bit quiet and give us chance because we give you the
what do you have manipulate over Liberian politics? Is that why you want people to get you a chance? No, the young people are not getting you a chance. You don't have a crystal ball to look into Liberian politics. The man has the right to look.
Go now. Let's do it. Call Friday, or if you want to come on here, we'll bring you. We about to close on that. It's already so this is not in disrespect to your call, but just do it on Friday. We'll put it on hold already. We don't want to have other people and then they say, they say they're close and why they're picking.
Thank you. Thank
you so much, and have a pleasant evening. By God's willing, we'll be back here. We'll keep monitoring. Yeah, it's quite interesting. The vice president called for the budget to be reviewed and for the Senate to take a second thought instead of concurring with the lower house. So people are they are opening their eyes. They are opening their eyes.
This is the same vice president when she was senator. She put up a bill, not just to criminalize homosexual, which is something that is way out there, but that people should be capital punishment should be met out to these people who commit. Yeah, she did that, and it's in the American Smithsonian archive, so it's not something small.
All right. Okay, let's leave that.
Okay, Mr. So thank you very much. I'm just happy tonight to be on with you. Thank you very much, and I'll say good night to all of you.
Thank you so much, the Liberator. And to our more valuable members and followers, we want to thank you so much for your time by following us here. Hey, Mr. Katie, Venetius, Bassi, Henry, and Octavius. Please, let's do it, Lazo. Thank you so much. By God's willing, we will be back here on Friday for more news, information, and talking point as it unfolds within the political dispensations of Liberia. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Please, the virus is still around. I am a living witness. It's slamming for the second time, but thank God I am fully vaccinated and get a booster, so I didn't really get the hit as it did in the past. So for those of you who have not done that, think about it. Think about getting your vaccine. Think about taking all the necessary precaution, because the life you save could be yours or that of a friend and people that you know. Have a pleasant evening. Bye bye.
Jehovah, Jehovah, it is of the first. Come the first.